Hello, my name is Konstantinos. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Crusades game, a game by Lefteris Rouglidis, Haris Haralambidis, Arilas Boucharelis. This is a Kickstarter version of the game, so a lot of things they're going to change. Let me explain you the game and then let's come back to tell you my opinion about the game, because it happens like that I'm a playtester for this game. Every faction has 4 leaders. We start the game with 3 leaders, and the last one can come at any time during the game by playing a start gem card. Every leader comes with some starting icons for faith, supply, and the armies. Then every leader has a starting position on the map. We shuffle the target cards. Every faction has 3, and then randomly we pick one, and these are the cities that we're gonna score points at the end of the game. The rest can go out of this game. After we place our leaders and we shuffle the target cards, then we have the event cards. There are 7 event cards. The first one, it's always the same for both factions, and then we shuffle the rest 6 cards, and so basically in every round a different event card comes. Okay, so the event cards, as you can see, there are the number of cards that each leader is gonna draw during the game. As you can see at the beginning, as I said, there are 3 leaders, but afterwards we have also the 4th option for every leader. Then we have some history flavor about what happened during this period of history, and then there is an ability. The last one, then we have like a modifier for the battles. After every leader is gonna draw the specific cards that comes through the events, then the game starts from the Muslim faction. So the game goes like every leader of a faction, they can play a card, then goes to the next leader. There is only one exception on that. If there is like a card that says like the Christians, they play first. If this is not the case, then the Muslim player goes first, the Muslim players. So let's go to the basic mechanic of the game, and it's like playing a card. On the card we have different actions, which basically is the battle action, as you can see here, siege action, tactics, and let me explain what these actions are about. So I'm gonna open cards and I'm gonna explain. Battle. During battle, what we can do, and I'm gonna explain it in detail later. If there is a leader in an adjacent area, then the battle is gonna start. Then we have like the siege action. With the siege action, what we can do, it's like, as you can see here, as we said before, like with the scoring cards, if someone is gonna play a siege action through a card, and this leader is standing in one of these cities, then they are gonna control this area. So let's say, for example, as you can see, this is the Christian cities. This is the cities that the Christians should conquer. So let's say that they are here in Homs, for example. If a leader is standing on the corresponding city and it's gonna play like the siege, then we put like a control marker, and that's it. This is gonna give the corresponding amount of victory points at the end of the game. So in this case, like for Homs, it's 2 victory points at the end of the game. So the game goes like, in the end, the faction that has the most victory points wins the game. And we're getting victory points through the target cards. And as you can see, every faction has to conquer 5 cities, and through the battles. And this is also a victory track point for the battles. So every time that a faction wins a battle, this goes towards them. So this means like the Muslim players, they have 2 victories. If that was the case, this means like Christian players, they have 1 victory. And also, this is the same amount of victory points at the end of the game from the battles. Also, something else that I like to mention is like, at the end of the game, the faction that's closer to Jerusalem is gonna get +1 point. One last thing that a faction can take points, it's like we have these areas here. So this one, the purple ones and the yellow ones, So at the end of the game, if someone has control, and I must say now like that these cities are not included on the target area, in the target cards. So basically, if a faction has the majority of the areas on the purple areas, then they're gonna get +1 point. If the same applies for the yellow area. If a faction has majority in both areas, then they're gonna get 3 points at the end of the game. And as you can see, let me explain something. As you can see how we have 5 cities, but here we have like the siege action, and here we have the crusade. So basically, because both factions, they have like a 5 victory point city. In order to conquer this, you cannot do it with only a siege action. You need a crusade action through a card. That's the only difference. But remember, like the crusade actions are not so many in the deck. Then let's continue and see the other actions. One other action that we have, it's like the tactics, in which when someone is gonna play, a leader is gonna play like a tactics, then they can give or take a card from one of the other leaders of the same faction. We have the stratagem cards. As I said before, if at some point a faction likes basically to remove from play one of the leaders and take the 4th one, then they can play a stratagem card, and then they can bring like the 4th and last leader somewhere on the map, depending of their starting area. The other thing that the stratagem can do, we have these cards here. We shuffle this at the beginning of the game, and then this leader draws 2. They can pick one and keep it for the rest of the game. The only reason for someone to lose a stratagem card, it's only if they will go out of the game. So as you can see, all of them, they have 2 special abilities basically. And this is the reason why we need supply during the game. So there is an ability here that can do something by paying 1 supply, and there is also an ability that you can do by paying 2 supply. And how do we get supply? If someone is gonna play a supply caravan, a leader is gonna play a supply caravan, then they get +1 supply. So simple. And as I said before, supply, there are 2 options to use the supply. It's for the stratagem card, and it's really important for the end of the game, in the case of a tie. One other action that we have, it's like call to arms, which basically it's like the supply caravan. In supply caravan, you get +1 supply. So with call to arms, you are moving forward 1 on the army track. That's it, so simple. I like here to mention like that for some actions, the instructions of the actions are on the cards. So basically we have a lot that if you don't remember what they are doing, they are gonna be like on the card so you can read them. Then we have like the regroup action, which basically it's like the leader that played the card, you can exchange 1 card with another leader of the same faction. The army movement, it's like there's like a leader and they move 1 space. So simple. One other basically movement, which let's say that it's like a more advanced movement. It's like campaign, with when a leader is gonna use like a campaign action, then they can move up to 2 spaces. The other one, it's like the naval battle transport. So basically, if you are standing in one of the ports on the map, then by playing a naval transport, you can move in one of the ports with the same color. So basically, if I'm standing here, I can go here because it's also yellow here, or let's say I can come here. And then let's go to battles, which basically you can start a battle if a leader stands next to you, or you can start a naval battle, if there is a connection through the ports. So basically here, you can play a card, a naval battle, and then you can attack the leader here. I explained before, like that there is a campaign, which basically it's a double movement. So we have like an advanced battle card, let's say, in which you can move and start a battle. This is like the Holy War. Okay, so the battle. The first thing is like a leader should play a battle action. in order to start the battle. The second one, it's like the defender, they can stop the battle by playing a withdraw action. So as you can see here, the withdraw, and there is an explanation for the action. So if the defender is gonna play a withdraw action, then they can, basically they are losing the battle. So this means like this one moves forward. This leader is gonna lose 5,000 army, so it goes down 1, and then it's the end of the battle. Also, the withdraw gives the option for the leader to basically retreat up to 2 areas away. Then, starting with the attacker can play a sandstorm. The sandstorm says like that we don't count any other cards, and we're gonna count only the event cards. So this is the modifier for the battles during this round. So basically we're gonna play only with these cards here. After the attacker is gonna decide if they like to play Sandstorm, then the defender player can decide if they like to play the Sandstorm action. Moving forward, if there is no Sandstorm action has played, then we go like to the next step, which basically starting with the attacker, then the attacker should play all the reinforcement cards that they want. And the reinforcement cards are these. We have like the normal infantry one, which basically they give +1 to battle, and then we have some more specified armies, as this one here. So as you can see, this gives +2 in the battle. After all the reinforcement cards have been played, then we go to the next step. So in the next step, there are the option for the attacking leader or the defending leader to basically use one of these 2 cards, which basically they are doing the same. And this is like about, as you can see here, says battle resolution without the event cards. So basically we do not count the modifier on the event cards. After that, we go like almost to the last step, and basically the last step, it's like we are adding up to the sum already that we have so far, like the faith and the armies. So basically here, let's say for example that if that was the example, this is 0 faith and this is 3 armies. As you can see, every army step there are 2 boxes. After that, the winning player forces the defending leader to space away. So let's say if that was the example, then this leader was the winner, then this leader has to go to space away. And following the example, let's say that if that was the case and this leader was the winner, then this has to move towards like the Muslim faction. At the end of the battle, depending on the difference through the leaders, then we follow this battle resolution table, depending, as you can see here, we have like the winner and the loser and the difference or the tie outcome. The game lasts 7 rounds. The faction at the end that's gonna have the most victory points is the winner. I'm feeling like that I'm gonna back this game. First of all, the first time that when I played this game, I was basically also play tested, and I was really interested to participate in the procedure of play testing. And so why I'm feeling that I like to be part of this game and why I like this game to be part of my collection. Let's start with the basics. This is a really amazing cover. When I first saw this cover, I was really interested about what this game is about, and seriously, I was something like, okay, this is a piece of art. I like to have a game that with this cover in my collection. The second thing, it's like the game plays like 3 against 3. It's something that so far I don't have a similar game in my collection, so I was really interested about this concept. It works really well, and the game plays like in 1.5 hours. So this has to do also about the group that you are playing with. Maybe it's gonna take more, but if you know the game, I think this is the time that it's gonna last. The last thing about the game, which I was totally convinced at the end, it was like that it's a really balanced game. I have played so far like I have 3 plays so far. So all of these 3 games, they were really close. They were like the one team won like with +1 point, 2 points. So I really appreciate these games. I really like for a game to be like an intense game and till the end to be really interesting. So for today, that was Crusades. If you like what you have seen so far about this game, consider to back it on Kickstarter.